Hello, welcome back from that short break. How are you, everyone? Welcome back. Welcome back once again, our viewers, to the second episode on understanding safeguarding. My name is Olugbenga Ogunleye, your host, and just like the last episode, I've got the same panel waiting. I'll let them go anyway. I've got immediate right, Mrs. Esther Ezeshi, the one that works with these children with special needs.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, and I've got Stephen Makinde, the accountant, and how did you put it again last time? I forgot.
A member of the safeguarding team of the first
that's
church
true. That's true.
You missed that out.
Oh, okay.
I understand. No worry.
Okay,
it's
but
allowed.
We'll go on. And then to my far right is Mr. Ifedayoni. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
AKA
the conditional poet. The one that can only write poem when it's conducive. So that's conditional.
I don't know
natural
about,
poet.
I don't know about conditional. Wow.
Yeah. Research into that. Yeah. Research into that. Great. So guys, we left.
Just didn't sound right.
Okay. So we should change that then. We're writing poems every time.
The conditional doesn't sound okay. Anyway, carry on.
All right, so we left the first episode at where I was just trying to paint a picture of myself being vulnerable but hiding it. And then this episode will be looking into abuse a lot deeper. But I would say let's start from abuse. Does it have types, for instance? And if it's got types, what types of abuse do we have? Generally speaking, we can just take it from one another, really. So who is going first? What type of abuse do we have?
We've got physical.
Physical.
We've got sexual.
What does that? What does physical entail?
Physical, as in something you can see, as in
when you
biting, scratching, beating.
For once, I wish the man in the middle was the one sitting beside me. I'll have just tested something on him, and then we'll have. So I'm just trying to learn. If I did this, I'll now ask him, is that a physical abuse?
Even throwing babies up is counted as abuse.
When they hit their head on the roof, or when they fall?
When you just
throw them
I'm just playing.
Yeah, you see it as playing, but some children, they see it as you abusing them. Yeah.
I get the fact that when somebody doesn't like something, if a child says, please stop it, and I don't stop, that's an abuse. Mm-hmm. But if that just is laughing, how is it an abuse?
Well, it's basically what could happen.
Yes.
Because
as it happens, we are preventing.
We know you have to wait until it happens.
You don't have to wait, because anything can happen in that process.
Like
because
I can't catch.
Anything can happen, my dear. Yes.
If you catch and probably you fracture the arm in the process, or
yes,
or something,
yes.
or
so that's why,
or the head just shakes and something happens and stuff.
Blood goes,
so it's a lot that could
brain.
happen. It's a lot.
Okay, let's go on, because what I'll be talking about later on is then. Are you sure we're not trying to kill a fly with a sledgehammer in this safeguarding thing? I'm looking at the probability of what you've listed happening to be really insignificant, yet we are hammering on it. But let's go with types of. We've mentioned physical now. Any other one?
Sexual.
So that's what now? I want to
sexual abuse.
You want to expand on that for us?
When you take advantage of someone sexually.
Exploit sexually. That's without consent.
Without consent.
Without consent. Again,
but at the same time, a child cannot give you consent.
A child is that's called statutory rape, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
No.
It's a child. If it's
a child is below 18.
In America, right? I think it's from the age of 16, between 16 and 18. So if you do that, that will call it statutory rape. But in the UK, the age of consent is 16.
16.
That's what I'm saying. So if a child can't give consent,
it's not statutory. It's just it's just abuse.
Just abuse.
In the UK.
Abuse and rape are different.
Well, rape is
a form of abuse, isn't it?
Of sexual abuse.
Yes.
That makes sense. So, but we are talking about children now. So the consent age is 16. Okay. So whatever you do for a child who's not 16 years old, right, it's an abuse. Sexually, either you show them any inappropriate picture or whatever it is you do to them, that it's an abuse, okay? But the fact that even they are 16 years old, they are still children.
Just
Does that make sense?
children.
So, but whereas when you talk about statutory rape, I remember reading a novel, John Grisham. Talk about that was the first time I heard about statutory rape. It's just when you are 16, and I looked it up. So in America, that's it. So 16 and between 16 and 18. I think it's from some states in America, not all states anyway. So, but that's statutory rape. That's what it is. They were 16, but you still did it. So it's still against the law.
All right. So that's sexual abuse.
Yeah.
So physical, sexual. What other abuse have we got again?
We've got financial. I was
Financial.
thinking you're gonna say that.
Financial, yeah. Financial
Financial
abuse.
abuse.
When you deprive, or what does that mean? If you don't
Different
give
form.
money or what?
Different
Yeah,
forms.
different
form
form.
of
So if
financial
you
abuse.
if you there's a fine line between and I'm coming to
and
okay, let me just stop there.
neglect.
Anyway, financial
Neglect.
abuse.
No, we've not
No, I'm
let's
saying
not
different.
expand the-
Financial.
It's just me. My mind it just keeps going like just
Round.
exploring different bigger things. But financial abuse is just basically you are financially abusing someone who is not able to
Vulnerable.
protect or defend
Yeah.
themselves, and they are vulnerable. So, say for example, you got a most cases like children in your like their benefits, you're not using it to buy things for them.
Yourself.
They are being neglected. So there's so many abuse that can come under that. But or if you have like a partner who does not have the mental capacity to
Vulnerable
actually
adults.
manage their own finances, and you are managing it for them, right? And you are not giving them or kind of buying what they want to buy.
want.
You are exploiting them
Or
financially
stealing from them.
or stealing from them. That is a financial abuse. So it could come in many ways, but it's basically you're financially abusing
Taking advantage
them.
of somebody.
Because they're dependent on you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Using- you're weaponizing their.
The inability to manage their finances, you are taking advantage of it.
Taking advantage. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That counts also. So physical, sexual, financial,
And neglect.
neglect.
So, yeah, neglect. Yeah.
Just abandon the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lack of care.
Okay.
Lack of what's that word I'm looking for? When you're not there for your children, you're not
For
caring for
children
them.
and
You're not
vulnerable ones.
yeah taking care of them. Maybe it might be unkept, going to school unkept, without
Really?
food.
That's an abuse.
Yes.
It
Really?
is, yeah. It is an
Wow.
abuse.
So if as a parent or a carer or a guardian, if you are not actually affording your children or the kids are in your care, if you're not affording them the basic needs in life, so you not actually be there for them, maybe to stimulation or to take them to school or to
At
give
the
them
right
like
time.
food, all this kind of or what they wear, like clothing, shoes. They're always in rags or all those kind of that's neglect. You neglected
Them.
those children.
Okay, so I have a problem with that. Now, does it matter the reason for what you have termed neglect? And I'm going somewhere in the sense that a parent who is unable to afford the shoes, who's unable to afford 3 square meals, for instance, and just can't do one, for instance, out of best effort, is unable to. Is that still termed as an abuse?
I would yes. The reason is because these children, remember, they are children. Okay, they are the priority, and this is how the state looks at it. If you are struggling, there are many organizations,
Yes, you
agencies,
can go for
social
help.
services that you can actually
Go
you
for
know,
help.
Contact.
you can actually approach. So you don't necessarily have to give them Nike or like Adidas or like whatever designer. It's called basic. So at least they're not in cold. They're not cold when you're sleeping at home. The heating is on. They're not cold. Yeah.
Yeah, warm.
Say and they have
the right
clothing. Yeah, not that you have to buy them like a
Mm.
brands and
Brand names.
designers, but they have basic things. So that's why I call basic things.
Yeah, but you know that not everyone can access these things, this help that you are talking about. I'm not sure everyone can qualify to be helped.
Well, and that's another thing entirely. Everyone, if you have a child, not you,
Yeah,
you're not the
there
one
are some-
accessing. There is the children.
and
Oh.
there are charities that can provide
Okay.
In the instance where you cannot approach the government, there are charities that can provide
You
this.
can even approach the government. I do something about what you talk about. People are no recourse to public fund.
Mhm.
You know, the government, they have the duty to look after your kids
Oh,
first.
yeah.
To make sure, because if
Especially
something
children.
happens,
Yeah,
I'm not
especially
talking about
children,
adults
yeah.
now. What about
Especially
children?
children. There are institutions, and that is one thing most of us don't know. If you are struggling with your children, as in not giving them the basic things of life, there are agencies, there are organizations that you can, you go to, like every local government, every mayor's office, council, you go there, they'll advise you on how to go about, because you don't have to put them in danger. When you neglect them too much, it causes a lot of things to those children. So that is why there are a lot of organizations that you have to go and meet them. This is the issue I'm having, and they are always there. If you have been, because you will not just come, they will come and verify. If they know that yes, you're saying the truth, they will give you the right help. I think that is one thing that our people must learn to also understand. You don't just die in silence.
Seek for help.
You must seek for help. Meet people.
Hope you are listening, guys, especially
Right.
those who can't qualify for public funds in the UK at the moment.
I was just going to talk about that as well. And I think one of the things that we actually, that circles around is about that, if I seek help, they will take my children away from me. Things like that. That is not the case. In fact, it's a very bad narrative out there. So, if you do not have recourse to public fund, it is you, all right, not your children. But you are looking after your children.
But then it's written on the
can I just finish?
on the BRP of those children as well.
Can I finish? There's something they call public fund, all right. So, when you are talking about housing, that's a public fund. Okay, but the local authority, they have the statutory duty to protect vulnerable people.
Children.
Otherwise, even people that would care for needs and support, and children as well. That is why, if it doesn't happen, the human rights will be breached.
Okay.
Should be breached. So when you're talking about public fund, they're talking about maybe housing and other things. Even at that, I've seen many situations. I used to work in children's services, one local authority there, and we've put kids in no-recourse public fund to a hotel because either they were kind of running away from domestic abuse, or maybe they couldn't afford it. So the state has the duty to protect the children. Remember, it is the children, and that is why we always say, children, they come first. You need to prioritize them.
All right. That's fair.
Another good example is this church as well. We prioritize safeguarding people as well. The children, the families that are in need, and all the rest. And not just this church, because we're a charity organization. There are many charity organizations as well. Even to the point that where now this may this is not now sounding technical. Even to the point that legal aid for like maybe if you fleeing abuse and you have to go to court for them. So legal aid, the fact that you're not earning to a particular, there's a threshold for it. So you can still, I'm not saying everyone will, but you can still access it. You need to access your financial capability. But what I'm saying is this: the fact that maybe you don't have money, or you don't have this, or you don't have that, should not actually deter you seeking help. Prevent from seeking help.
All right. Thank you very much for that one. That's a good clarification. The other clarification I would like for us to touch on briefly also is then other this neglect is painted where you can't afford it. I'm not looking at you're neglecting the children, the vulnerable ones, just because you want to go and earn money to be able to afford it.
I'll leave.
That's neglect.
Maybe I set myself up because I used neglect in that question.
Neglect.
No, it is.
So it's quite new to some of us. In the UK, where you have to bring the children to the school, come collect them.
That is part of safeguarding. They don't want to give your child to a wrong person. Yes.
But the family will lose avenues of making more money.
See, the children comes first. We have said it.
But they can't be hungry.
So I think in the first place, when you are getting married and planning to have children, you do think of how you're going to take care of those children when you continue working. Let's talk about that in the first place.
Yeah, but you have thought that they'll be in school between these hours and hours. So,
But you know how long the school takes too. The school goes from 9 to 3, and you know how long your work takes.
I'm even thinking of getting a house just next to the school gate, so the child can just walk into the house
And walk
and
back
walk
home by
back.
yourself.
No.
Isn't that straightforward?
No, it is not. Every child must be picked by an adult.
Must.
Yes, and an adult, because when they are filling their forms, they are going to write out names of people. So you can't just send. You can't just send me if my name is not on the. Yeah.
Interesting. So that's counted as neglect.
Yes. Because you just have to be there. Because some children, they get distressed when the people that comes to pick them. I'm speaking from my own end. Like a child now, maybe it's mom that comes every time, and one day maybe mom could not come. Mom is sending none, and mom already has called the school. Oh, my mom will be picking my son up or my daughter, and the child gets to the gate looking for mom, not mom, and maybe
Sees granny.
he sees granny fine, but granny is not
very
supposed
happy.
to pick me. In that instance, that person, get distressed. Yeah, most children, they get distressed. So that is why they put it that way. Even if you want to come and pick them, they will tell, okay, I'll be coming, or somebody will be coming. So it's always good an adult has to come and pick a child, because anything happen. If it's okay, your house is just a stone throw. See, for something to happen, it's a twinkle of an eye. Anything can happen between the school gate and the house.
Right. It's well, okay. I know I'm not going to judge anyone, and neither am I going to take side with what is not right. Okay, so I know we all have bills to pay. We all have shifts to run after, to chase, or we have money maybe to even send money home in Nigeria or in Ghana, wherever it is they are. And I do know that fingers are not equal. And I do know that the fact that maybe it does not happen to A does not mean that it would not happen to B. All right, I'm just trying to approach each situation in a unique way that's applicable to that particular person. So, first and first, you cannot afford to leave your children in school and not collect them. You need that. That's why you have like a support network. So if you know you're unable to collect your kids at school, it is your responsibility to make sure when they are in school and it's time for them to go home, somebody that is safe
is
picks them up. So and there's another thing that we always miss as well, maybe intentionally or accidentally. The child must be at the center of that decision. So if you're not able to pick your child from school, have you told the child?
Okay.
Does the child know? Have you prepared the child for that? And that's why they have been distressed. They come up like they're expecting somebody to see them to pick them up and address. So, and these people as well that are picking them up, are they safe as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Because if anything happens to that child in that person's care, the person, but you yourself, you will be accountable for it. You'll be held accountable for that situation. So it is very important that we know who is picking our children from school, and when they pick them from school, I'm not speaking in general now, and I'm not saying specifically for people. We do not know what these children face in those people's care, and that's also the reason why the children's voice is very, very crucial. So when they pick them up, what do you tell them? When they come back from school, how do you approach them? Oh, tell me what happened in school today. You chat about it, they tell you everything, and you know what is going on. And that is where, if anything happens, you could spot abuse from there. And the children, they will be able to confide or to have confidence in you. So I know we're chasing, pounds and all the rest, but we need to find a way. We need to find a place to actually, to safeguard these children. It's very, very important. And when you said running, from here to there, that from the road. And another thing again I want to actually talk about these days, when a child is about maybe in year 5 or year 6, when the school says that they are kind of mature enough, or maybe they're not living very far away, they can go home themselves.
Okay.
It's not. I'm not talking about children with special needs. I'm talking
Right.
about a mainstream school.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe there's not far away from the school.
Mhm.
They can just walk, but the child has to be mature as well to be able to
You know,
handle traffic,
Road.
strangers. Because if anything happens as well, we're not saying anything would happen, but if it happens as well,
they'll see
still the parents will
The
be
parents still
accountable.
being
Does that make sense? But the child they must be able to demonstrate that they can keep safe,
all right.
but not long distance, but just short distance.
Fair
You know.
enough. Fair enough. Thanks, guys. I think we've spoken a lot about children, like they are the only ones that are vulnerable. Now let's now flip it now and try and
Oh.
major on adults, widows, widowers.
Sorry, brother, there's another type of abuse that we have not touched.
Oh, I thought it
Emotional,
was finished.
psychological.
Let's see more.
Psychology,
Psychological and emotional, and that's very
psychological.
crucial because when you neglect a child, when
It's
you
too
financially
emotional.
abuse them, when you physically abuse them,
the emotions.
all
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
can accumulate to an
Into
emotional abuse. You
abuse.
shout. So I know when you shout, it's emotional, like you abuse them psychologically, but all these forms
Other
of abuse,
forms.
they can form to
Lead
kind
to
of,
emotional abuse.
they in a way tend to work in such a way that the child's self-confidence, self-esteem, it can reduce it, and they lack in confidence, they lack in self-esteem. When you see them outside, they can't even speak where the colleagues are talking, and that also brings to them being a target of bullying in some cases. And it's just all this they're interwoven in a way.
Interwoven.
So for example, if you neglect your kid, they're not having the best, not the best like the basic school shoes, or their clothes are always dirty to when you get to school and all the rest. Then when other kids see them,
They make fun of them.
They make fun of them, they target them, and they become a victim of bullying. It's not that it's right to bully, but it's just
Yeah, I get that.
aids that vice.
I get that.
So emotional abuse and psychological abuse, they are also very, very key also in children, even as
Wow.
it is in adults as well.
All right. Interesting. So, but not very interesting. Interesting, but not very interesting. Now, let me come to you. How do you spot? Is there a way for you to know if someone is being abused? Now, let's now look towards the older ones. I know you
Okay.
major on children, but
Yeah.
from experience.
Just the way we have said concerning adults, the older ones, like if you don't come to me, maybe you are in an abusive relationship. Let's take that for an
Okay,
instance.
that works well.
Yeah, and because I'm not in your home, I don't know what happens in your home. But if you have that confidence enough to come to me and tell me this is what I'm going through in my relationship. Because if I see you, I might not. Because we adults, we can hide things. Unlike children, that you can, maybe when you are very close to them, you can spot when children are being abused. But it's difficult for an adult until when they speak out. Until when an adult speaks out, that is the way I say it. If you don't speak, because I don't have inner eyes to know what you are going through, but you as an adult, you have to speak out when you are being abused, because that is the only way you can get help. If you don't speak out, you can't get help.
But if it's a woman that's always coming to work, maybe your colleague coming to work with swollen eyes, blistered lips, you can already sense that is somebody punching you. But if it's a guy that is being abused and he just comes, just looking at you, maybe torn shirt or once in a while, you can just see that something is going on.
I know that according to my training, with the training I've had, when you spot an abuse, every organization have a designated safeguarding lead.
Okay.
The moment you spot there is an issue, there is a concern, you go to that person. That person is the first point of call you must go to.
So then investigate or ask questions.
Yes, so you will just tell the person your concern. You don't have to discuss with every other people. That is why they are there.
Okay. So if I
once
look at Stephen that doesn't smile often and I feel like probably he's been abused, I can just go to
senior pastor in this church.
She's
because the manager,
because
the line manager is yes.
That's fair.
Safeguarding lead.
That's fair. Okay. So we just spot that, and then Steven.
You can't just say because somebody's not smiling, right? And you think something is wrong with
Wrong.
it.
How else
That's
would
what
I
I'm saying,
stop?
that
Yeah,
the person
so
has to
I have
come
to
out.
convince myself that I
to
think something
make
is
it
not
clearer
right.
is someone that is usually joyous, that is usually
Happy.
and then you start seeing signs of withdrawal. Person is sad. That might be a concern, but not just person is just from beginnings. But if it was there's a change of attitude, then you can say maybe that's a form of concern.
Rightly so. But it's not everyone
That is.
Yeah.
that like that. That,
That is abuse. Yes.
Yeah.
It's not-
Otherwise, do you know how many referrals you get?
You get-
The system will crash.
Yes.
But then again, you look at the fact that if I see that you smile, you normally smile, but you are not starting to smile again. A part of me can say, "Think leave that guy. It's possible he doesn't have money right now, and I don't have money to give to you. So I'll just let him be. Hey, brother, bless you. You're blessed. Bless you." Everybody just goes peacefully. That's the way to go about it, isn't it? I know you will say no.
I always like to approach cases with individual uniqueness. So, what happens to A may not happen to B. So it's different. But are we talking about the signs?
Yes, signs.
Yeah. So there are many signs. Like someone who you know that's always very, very happy, excited, coming, and all of a sudden you realize that kind of mood big change. It might not necessarily be abuse. It might be that maybe they are just passing through
stuff.
or maybe health reason or emotional well-being. Maybe it's that, or someone that maybe they know that they are vulnerable. Okay.
Yeah. So the ones that is not vulnerable, I'm just asking. The person is not that I don't know as vulnerable, but start to have mood change. If I don't trust that I can help that person, do I have a reason to ask to check up on that person?
Well, we are
Yeah.
all in Christ,
Yeah,
body
okay.
of Christ. So, but your approach also matters. So you can't just go all full-fledged like, oh yeah, I know something is wrong with you. I know.
You'll be abused.
There are approaches like different ways you could approach in a way that it will respect the person and it won't feel like you're being intrusive to the person privacy, because remember, rights to private life or family life. Okay, right. So you can't just do that, even though if you know that the person has been, if you know you have the evidence that the person has been abused, okay, your approach still matters, because if you do not handle it appropriately, it could make the situation worse and put the person at further danger. Remember, they are capacitors. What I mean, they have the capacity, so safeguard will not apply to them.
I see.
Safeguard will not apply to them. So, but your approach to saving the person may even you think you're helping, but it might actually put them at more danger, because you don't know who the abuser is. Does that make sense? So all you need to do, there are different approaches to it anyway, and different people, different individuals.
All right.
But it takes skills as well. When it gets to that, it takes skills as well too. When you've been to the training and you've been to
recognize the signs.
We'll look more in depth into that aspect in the next episode. Just for clarity, Steve McKinney that I tried to mention that doesn't smile is because he follows a football club that's always losing. They never win, so it's not been smiling, and I quite understand that part. So guys, we'll round up now and then we'll come back to you in the next episode, and that can be our concluding episode if possible. We'll just talk about when we've now found the abuse, what then do you do? I mean, she started talking about reports to the designated lead, but then beyond that, then what are the steps that we can then carry out, and then it can be help for people who are going through any form of abuse, one way or the other. Thank you once again very much for my wonderful panelists. Thank you, Mr. Feda Yoni. You've changed now. You are repented now. You can now write poems at every given time. I want to assume
it's just a word conditioner that I'm not
really thinking about that word conditioner.
Thank you very much, Steve McKinney. The new football season will soon begin. You might want to change the team that you support. And thank you very much, Mrs. Ezieshi, for your wonderful time. Mega Gule, signing out. See you next episode. Bye.